Hello guys, welcome back. I am Yusuf Shakeel and you are watching JavaScript tutorial series. In this video, we are going to learn about string. So let's get started. Alright guys, so I have opened the project folder in Sublime Text, and inside the project folder, I have created a new file, string.html, and I have written the following HTML code. And inside the JS folder, I have created another file, string.js, which is this one. And I have included this string.js file inside this HTML file by writing this script tag. And now let us go ahead and open this file in Chrome. So we'll open the project folder and we'll open this string.html file in Chrome. And we'll also open the DevTools. So we'll go to View, Developer, and we'll select DevTools. And now we'll move to the Console tab. And since it is empty at the moment, that means we don't have any error. All right. So what is a string? Well, a string is a sequence of characters enclosed within double quotes or single quotes. So for example, string apple within double quotes is a string, and similarly, orange within single quotes is also a string. Now let us go ahead and create a string. Now in JavaScript, we can create a string by either creating a variable and assigning the string value to it, or we can instantiate a string object. So let's create a variable str and we'll assign a string value to it. So within double quotes, we can write, let's say, hello world. So this is a string value and we are assigning this string to this variable str. So this is one way of creating a string. And if we console.log type of str, we'll get string. So if we save the file, go back to Chrome and reload, we get string. Now, another way of creating a string is by instantiating the string object. So let's say we have another variable var str2, and this time we are instantiating the string object and we are passing the string, let's say hello world. And now if we console log type of str2, we'll get object. So if we save the file, go back to Chrome and reload, we get object, which is coming from line number 14. That is this one. So we can create a string by using string literal, or we can create a string by instantiating the string object. And the difference is, if we use regular text as string, like in this case, the type of that variable will be string. But if we create a string by instantiating the string object, then the type of that variable will be an object. And if we console log value stored in str, and str2, we'll get hello world in both the cases. So if we save the file, go back to Chrome, clear the console, and if we reload, we get hello world for str and hello world for str2, even though the first one is of type string and the second one is of type object. Now let me comment this. Now remember, we can compare a string created using regular text using equals and equal to and of same type operator. So for example, let's say we have a variable str1 and it is set to apple, and let's say we have a variable str2 and it is also set to apple. And we can compare this and check whether they are equal using the equal to operator, and we can also compare and check whether the value and type is same by using the equal to and of same type operator. So equal to, so we can check whether str1 is equal to str2, and this will give us true because value of str1 is apple and value of str2 is also apple. So if we save the file, go back to Chrome, and if we reload, we get equal to and the value is true. Similarly, we can also check whether the value of str1 and str2 are equal and are of the same type. So equal and same type. So for this, we can write str1 equal to and same type str2, and this will also give us true because value of str1 is apple and value of str2 is also apple, and type of str1 is string and type of str2 is also string. So this will give us true. So if we save the file, go back to Chrome, and if we reload, we get equal and same type true. Now please note, we cannot use the equal to operator and the equal to and of same type operator to compare strings created by instantiating the string object. So for example, let me comment this, and let's say we have a variable str1 and it contained a string, and let's say the value is apple, and let's say we have another string str2, and this was created by instantiating the string object, and it also contains apple. So even though the value stored in str1 and str2, they both are apple and they both are created by instantiating the string object, so if we console log and check whether they are equal, we'll get false because even though they contain the same value, but they are not equal. So if we save the file, go back to Chrome, and reload, we get false. Similarly, if we check whether they are equal and of same type, we'll still get false, even though they both are object and they both contain the same value, apple. So if we save the file, go back to Chrome, and if we reload, we get false for equal and same type. So there is a difference between string created using regular text, that is string literal, and a string created by instantiating the string object. So remember, we cannot use the equal to and same type operator to compare string that were created by instantiating the string object. Now let's talk about the length property. We use the length property to find the number of characters in a given string. So for example, let's say we have a variable str and it contains a string, let's say ABC. So we can tell that this str contains a string having 3 characters. And to check the number of characters in that string, we use the length property. So we can console.log and we can write number of characters, and we can write name of the variable dot length. So this will give us number of characters in the string stored in the str variable. So if we save the file, go back to Chrome, clear the console, and if we reload, we get number of characters 3. We can use for loop or while loop or do while loop to access individual characters of a string. So for example, let's say we want to print all the characters of the string that was stored in the str variable. And let's say we are using the for loop. So we'll write for var I, and we'll set this to 0 because the first character in a string gets the index 0. So we have this variable I set to 0. Then we'll check whether the value of I is less than number of characters in that string. So we'll write I less than str.length. And then we'll increment the value of I by 1. So we'll write I++. And then we can console.log, or we can even document.write. But for now, let's say we want to console.log the character at index I. So we'll write the name of the variable, which is str, and we'll use the square brackets, and we'll pass the index, which is stored in variable I. And if you remember, in the previous video when we were talking about the arrays, we used this similar format to access the element of the array. So this is similar to an array, but in this case, we are accessing characters of a string. So now if we save the file and go back to Chrome, and now if we reload, we get the characters stored in the string, that is A, B, and C. So let us go ahead and explore this code. So we have a variable str and it contains a string, and number of characters in this string is 3, and we are printing that out by writing str.length. Now in order to access the characters in this string, we are using the for loop, and the characters are indexed. That is, the first character is at index 0, the second character is at index 1, and the last character is at index 2. So in the for loop, we have a variable I and it is set to 0. And in the condition, we are checking whether I is less than number of characters, that is str.length. And we are doing this because we want to start from 0 and move till the last index. And since this string has 3 characters, so the last character will have index 3 minus 1, that is 2. So for example, let's say if we have a string that contains 100 characters, then the first character is at index 0 and the last character is at index 100 minus 1, that is 99. So in this case, we have a string having 3 characters. So the last character, that is C, will have index 3 minus 1, that is 2. And then in the update part of the for loop, we are increasing the value of I by 1. So we have written I++. Then inside the for loop, we are using console.log to console log the characters at index I for the str variable. So initially, value of I is 0 and the condition I less than str.length is true. So str0 will give us the character at index 0, that is A. Then we increase the value of I by 1. So I is now 1 and the condition I less than str.length is again true. So str1 will give us the character at index 1, that is B. So we'll get B. And then we are increasing the value of I by 1. So I is now 2. And the condition I less than str.length is again true. So str2 will give us the character at index 2, that is C. So we get C in the console. And then we increase the value of I by 1. So I is now 3. And the condition I less than str.length is now false. So we come out of the for loop. And so when we run this code, we get A, B, C. Now let's talk about string methods. And the first method that we'll discuss is charAt. So the first string method is charAt. And we use this method to get the character at any given position or index. So let's say we have a variable str and it contains a string abc, and we want to get the character at position 0, that is at index 0. So we can console.log and we can write str dot, and we can use the charAt method. So we can write charAt and we can pass the index or position of the character that we want. And in this case, we want to get the character at position 0. So we'll pass 0. And this will give us A. So if we save the file, go back to Chrome, clear the console and reload, we get A. Similarly, if we change the position to, let's say, 2, then we'll get the character at position or index 2. That is, we'll get C. So if we save the file, go back to Chrome, clear the console and reload, we get C. Now if we pass a position or index that is greater than the number of characters in the string, then we'll get nothing. So in this case, this string has 3 characters. So the length of this string is 3. So the max position that we can pass is 2 to get a valid result. But if we pass any other position greater than 2, we'll get nothing. So if we pass, let's say 100, save the file, and if we go back to Chrome and reload, we get nothing. The next string method that we'll discuss is the concat method. And we use this to concatenate 2 strings. So let me comment this. And our next topic is concat method. So let's say we have a variable str1 and it contains a string, let's say hello. And let's say we have another variable str2 and it contains the string world. And now we want to concatenate string 1 and string 2. So if we use the concat method, we can concatenate string 1 and string 2 and get a new string. So let's say our final string is str3 and we are concatenating string 1 and string 2. So we'll write string 1 dot concat method and we'll pass string 2. So if we console.log str1, we'll get hello. If we console.log str2, we'll get world. And if we console log str3, we'll get hello world. So if we save the file, go back to Chrome and reload, we get hello world and hello world. Now if we want to add a space between hello world, we can simply add a space, comma, and then str2. So in this case, we are concatenating a space after hello, then we are concatenating the value stored in str2, that is world. So in variable str3, we will have hello space world. So if we save the file, go back to Chrome, and now if we reload, we get hello world and hello world with a space. Let's talk about another string method, the indexOf method. So let me comment this And the next topic is indexOf method. So let's say we have a variable str and it contains a string abc. And we want to find whether this string contains a character. And for that, we'll use the indexOf method. Now, the indexOf method returns the index of the first occurrence of that character. And if that character is not present in that string, then it returns -1. So we can use an if-else to check whether a given character is present or not. So we can write if str.indexOf, and we can pass the character that we are looking for, and we can check if the value is greater than -1, then we can console.log the character is present in the string. Else we can console.log the character is not present in the string. So let's say we want to check whether character C is present in the string stored in variable str. So in the indexOf method, we'll pass C. And now if we save the file and go back to Chrome, we'll get the character is present in the string because C is at index 2, and this method indexOf will return 2, which is greater than -1. So the if block will get executed. So if we save, go back to Chrome, clear the console and reload, we get the character is present in the string. Now if we look for some other character that is not present in the string, we'll get -1. So let's say if we are looking for, let's say, D. Now D is not present in the string, so we'll get -1 as a value from indexOf method. And because we are getting -1, so the else block will get executed and we'll get the character is not present in the string. So if we save the file, go back to Chrome, and now if we reload, we get the character is not present in the string. Similarly, we can use the indexOf method to search for a string inside a string. So let me comment this. And let's say we have a variable var str and it contains a string hello world. And let's say if the string that we are looking for is present inside this variable str, then we'll console log the string is present. So we'll have a if, and the condition is str.indexOf and the string that we want to search. And if that string is present, then indexOf, this method will return a value greater than -1. So we can console.log the string is present. Else we can console.log the string is not present. So let's say we have a variable s and we are looking for this string. So in the indexOf, we can pass that s, and we can also console.log the index. So let's say we have another variable index and it contains the index of s. So we can then replace this by index. So our code is, we have a string hello world and we are looking for, let's say, hello. So we are looking for this hello string in this string which is stored in the str variable. And in the index variable, we are storing the value that is returned when we call the indexOf method. So if the string s, that is the value stored in variable s, so if that string is present in the string stored in variable str, then this will return a value greater than -1. And if that string is present, then this code will execute. And if that string that we are looking for is not present, then this code will execute. So in this case, hello is present in this hello world string. So this will return a value greater than -1. So this will print out that value, which is 0 in this case, because this string hello starts from index 0. And since 0 is greater than -1, so we'll get this output. The string is present. So if we save the file, go back to Chrome, clear the console and reload, we get 0 and then the string is present. Now let's say we are looking for a string that is not present in this str variable. So let's say we are looking for hi, and since this hi is not present in this hello world string, so this indexOf will now return -1. So the index variable will contain -1, which we'll get in the console. And since index is -1, so the else part will get executed and we'll get the string is not present. So if we save the file and now go back to Chrome and reload, we get -1 and then the string is not present. I have included some more string methods on my website, and I have given their code as well as their output. So you can go ahead and copy this code in your text editor and run it on your browser and check the output. I will encourage you to use different methods, and I will also ask you to use different string values and experiment with the methods and see how they work. Alright guys, this brings us to the end of this tutorial. You will find all the tutorial notes on my website dyclassroom.com, and I will put all the code that we are writing in this tutorial series in my GitHub repository. All the links will be given in the video description, so please check that out. And if you find this video interesting, then please like this video and please subscribe my channel. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video, and like always, stay happy and keep smiling. Bye.